Welcome to Conscious Crypto. We're currently waiting on a setup that's emerging right now. Granted, strong little bounce reversal here. Like to see it probably come up and tag this 68 region. However, this is a point of confluence that I'm pretty excited about. So, obviously, a lot of activity here. This was a strong demand zone. You can see the strength that came out of this area, and the strength and the retest and the launch. That took us up to 82.5 and then rolled over hard. This did break the low. It could be a sweep. It'd be very interesting. Again, if this shows even more strength and could get up to here and then retest and hold, like I could see that institutions are accumulating, and this is going to be very interesting in that regard. However, on the 5 minute, 15 minute, there is divergence, especially on the TDI and the RSI. So it's just worth noting. Pretty nice 1, 2, 3, 4. And you got to get rid of that for right now. But here's where my signals come in. Let's go macro, y'all. Let's go macro. Let's take a big look at the daily. And while these are awesome zones to keep in mind, let's hide. You guys saw the short plays we took to the downside. Start this all over again. Welcome to Conscious Crypto. This may look like nothing, but I have a signal developing, and again, we have to wait for confirmation, which would be a close at the 65 mark, just essentially showing divergence at a very key level and the opportunity to roll over. So if we go to the daily, we just see what kind of retracement this is. Maybe even just a 12 hour is necessary. And it came in and tagged the 50 EMA within the volatility bands. You take a look at the Fibonacci retracement. It's got the 0.328, and then that's, again, a key level. That was a supply zone. So if you take a look at this a little more closely, the reason this is a very interesting level to me is because you can see all this vector activity, but the bouncing, right? Breaks through, but reclaims, breaks through, reclaims, retests, boom, boom, strength out of there. You just see it building. It just, as this bear market rally developed, you just saw all of this strength come into it. And for a second, tried to hold, broke right through. Now we're getting a retest. That's the same thing as people drawing like a wedge or some sort of triangle, and then seeing a break and then a retest and a rejection. So I'm looking for that rejection right now. Looking on the 1 hour, the confirmation would be a stronger close as a vector candle coming across the 50 EMA. What I want to see is at least 70% wick to body. It does cross through the middle, 30-30 rule, so loving that. I'm going to show you what that looks like with my new indicator / strategy. So here's the new algo. I'm going to show you what that looks like with the new algorithm. So this is just the indicator version. Yeah, I mean, I could pull it up, sure. Either way, I'm not really worried about any of that. I am looking at, beautiful buy right there. Take profit up there. Happy with that. But looking more importantly here, I want to see, again, a close of at least, 60, but really 70% would be ideal. Any close below this shows me that there's a potential to the downside. Of course, if it reverses very hard, it's invalid. If it gets a nice green vector bounce out of here, it's invalid. So just so you're aware, this is the percentage that I'm following. And it looks like there's a nice little fight going on. So let's take a hold on. Look at the 1 hour. 1 hour 60. 1 hour. So we got 20 minutes left. We got some time before this actually generates as a signal. But again, really nice looking rejection at a key zone. I literally tested the full extent of that zone. I believe a 12 hour. Yeah, had some vector activity. To me, this is great. So invalidation is anything above here. If you want to leave room for a sweep, fine. But really, just monitor the trade, take the risk appropriate, and if it takes you out, it should be of a position size that you're willing to re-enter on with a better entry. So if the liquidity sweep happens, that's fine. That's what happens. It takes out your stop, and you need to be prepared for that. Risk accordingly so that it doesn't phase you enough to prevent you from taking the trade again. If the setup remains valid despite a liquidity sweep, right? That's not invalidation. That's just stop loss hunting. That's just institutionals trying to fuck with your head. Retail traders swept out, freaking out, over leveraging on the next trade, or ruining your week, whatever have you. If the setup, the charts tell you that the setup is still valid, which unless there's a major close, I'm going to say 12 hour at least, not even a 4 hour, a 12 hour close above this wick high, which we have 67,250, then this setup is still valid. If it breaks and closes and shows strong uptrend, I'm going to look to the next zone, which at the moment I don't have drawn on the chart, but I can see some general ideas of where that next zone might be. So around 70, but that would be a strong bear market rally. The last little confluence I want to add here is taking a look on the 4 hour. TDI. Beautiful, beautiful TDI. You don't have to draw it from that one. You draw it from this one, whatever. But you have, boom, the high of the bull market, okay? When you have a high of a bull market and you have a trend line test, these are places to pay attention to. Let's take a look at what these, let's actually mark it here. Well, we can't mark it here. You won't see it above, but we're going to mark this one on May 6th. We're going to mark this area in January. And then obviously we all know October was the high. So let's go look at that. Boom. There's your high. Oh, what happened here in January? We got divergence and another hit tagged to the 800 EMA. And that's the toot toot. And then boom, we get another test right here. Strong test on the 5th. And now we got another test, y'all. And if this is going to follow, man, and it broke. It didn't wick down. Like this broke down and then hung around. And then people who were trading breakouts on a macro level or maybe got in around here, saw some profit, then saw some drawdown, then saw some profit. Now they're out. A little short squeeze here at the end. It's ready to roll over. I'm very confident about this one. Again, my confidence doesn't mean that I over risk on the trade. It means that I size appropriately. I expect anything to happen. And once that thing happens, I manage accordingly, right? Managing stops, managing drawdown. And then manage profit taking, of course. So keep an eye out for it. Haven't looked at ETH or anything like that. But however, you can just see right now in the 4 hour, like that's a pretty nice little beep, boop, boop. Jump to the top side, outside of the volatility bands. Yeah, that's a sweet shark fin. Yeah, this is looking good for a reversal. This got closer to testing the 200 EMA. This doesn't feel like the strongest, but it's, hey, we have to see. This is still early in this little formation, right? This just started last week or at the beginning of the month, end of the week of the first week of the month. Boom, in this little area. And that's just, I'm talking to myself now, so no one's really listening, but this is how I have to think when you're taking trades. You just go, oh, okay, so this has only been a 10-day development. That's not very long. Like maybe it's long if you're a scalper. But for me, in terms of macro moves, not a long time. Not a long time at all. Also a breakdown, also a retest back into, and I really love seeing that. So I expect some rejection, some pullback, some bleed over. If they're going to reaccumulate here, so be it. But you retest zones like that, and I love that kind of look. I love that kind of look. So yeah, quick look here. Not a great. Just want to add that the one signal that I am picking up on is a long signal starting from that bottom here. So these played out immaculately with the beginning of the divergence. Boom, boom. And then just so you understand, this is clearly tap, clear tap, strength out of that. But as you know, some divergence, some signs of weakness. So while I expect some bounce here, I don't expect this to be too strong. However, it's showing some promise here. It's 15-minute signal versus 4-hour signals versus 12-hour signals. So again, here's the range. Trade accordingly. Oop, we just got a signal on our Alpha Dog Pro, our Alpha Dog Elite. Go ahead and take a quick look here. So we have some live trades developing. Yep, some shorts on NASDAQ, which is cool. So shorts on NASDAQ. Alpha Dog profit optimized. I like the OG personally. Let's go down here. See if OG took a trade. Okay, looks like OG also took a trade. Short to there. Stop somewhere up here, I would hope. Boom. That's what it is, yo. All right. Tune in, check back. This is what it's all about. Boop, 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 boop. Oh, here. Do you want to just quick peep at my playing this game a little different than most? So a little bit of drawdown, looking like I caught this sweet ass little bottom down there. So still, we'll see at the breakout. Again, got quick invalidations as well. One of which being the 50-60% recovery of this candle. So we'll see what happens here. Patient. See, 50-60% recovery. Boom. Let's go. The 1 hour. Nope, gotta go 15 on it, don't we? Yeah, cool. So there's still probably some room for this to climb up a little bit. Again, if it's a strong, like if this 1 hour prints and it's prints like that, probably scratch that trade. If it recovers with strength and to the upside, then it's a total scratch, and wait for more confirmation here. So there's probably one more push, probably catching people like me that aren't willing to sit through drawdown, aren't willing to take a loss, waiting for them to, get excited about this, and then instead snap it back up, sweep something, maybe sweep this, maybe just push strong with strength, maybe sweep that, and then come back down. Again, that's if this setup is still valid. If it's not, we close it, move on to the next one. This is a very light position size, right? Risking $100. How quickly does $100 go in your day? I'm actually risking closer to $300 or $400, but the truth of it is, I don't know where you live, but where I live, that's a grocery run. Like, it's in the grand scheme of things, it's nothing, right? It's nothing. And if your situation is not that, I'm sorry, maybe you shouldn't be trading if your situation is not that. Because the more tight your budget is on the one side and your cash flow is on another side, the harder trading will be. You will not be able to make these decisions with ease. You will not be able to make the right decisions without emotion. You need to have, I believe, the right starting equity and the right nest egg. So have cash flow or a crazy fucking nest egg where, like, if you don't make money and you just lose money for the next 5 years, 2 years at least, you'll be fine. Like 2 to 5 years, you'll be fine. Or you have such good cash flow that it's irrelevant. It's just like, cool, I can lose this money because I make X amount of money. So once again, really stoked about this area, willing to take those risks. Again, if you're trying to, if you've seen my big shorts recently and you're trying to like jump on here, just want to keep you aware. If this uptrend is going to continue, without a doubt, this area will have to get recovered and retested. Okay. So this little candle right here has to get recovered, has to get retested. Probably testing this EMA, what have you. I don't expect it to break. This will hold and then the uptrend would continue. This is not where I expect it to happen. So timing is a different story. Like, it could happen now, could happen later, could not happen at all, could break right back through, could roll over, what have you. But seeing enough seeing enough here to say, hey, I think we're good. I think it's time. So let's see what happens in the next 10 minutes. Tune in, check back. That's what it is. Yo.